against the slumping Temple Owls, who came into the game 1-8. They would leave 1-9. In the first quarter, Temple driving from right to left turns it over on the first possession as Coleman and Cornell Brown strip the ball from the running back, and the Hokies get the football in the first possession on the Owls' 22-yard line. On the first play, quarterback Jim Druckenmiller hooks up with Jermaine Holmes for a 16-yard gain, and it appears as if the Hokies are going to jump on the Owls quickly to start this thing off, but they can't punch it into the end zone, and Adel Larson, who had an outstanding day, drills home the field goal, and the Hokies had a 3-0 lead 4 minutes into the game. Corey Green of Temple ended up with a pretty doggone good game. He had 65 yards rushing against Virginia Tech. Bonner had to start a quarterback as Burris, the Temple starter, had an injured knee and didn't play in the first half. Temple's drive to start the game stalls, and Mikulski nails a 41-yard field goal, and the game was tied at 3. Special teams problems hurt the Hokies later in the first quarter. Hunter John Thomas is knocked down for an 8-yard loss, but it was actually the wise decision. Had he kicked that ball, Temple probably picks it up and runs it in. As it turns out, the Owls couldn't drive the ball very far after getting Thomas on the ground, and Mikulski comes on later to attempt another field goal, this one a 31-yarder, and with about 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, Temple actually had the lead in this game 6-3. But the Hokies would then bring Marcus Parker and Ken Oxendine into the game, and they go 81 yards in 6 plays. The first 5 were runs. Oxendine got 11 on the first play, and then from the Tech 30-yard line on a draw play, Parker gains 19 yards. The Hokies went 81 yards in 2:29, and after running the ball 5 straight plays, a play-action fake for Jim Druckenmiller, and he finds Brian Still from Richmond. 12th touchdown pass of the year for Druckenmiller, 3rd score for Still, and the Hokies retook the lead 10-6. In the second quarter, Virginia Tech's defense took over, scoring twice. And both times, defensive tackles scored touchdowns. First, on a 3rd down and 8 from the Tech 43, Bonner goes back to pass. Hank Coleman comes unblocked, sacks the quarterback, and Jim Barron out of Maywood, Illinois, the senior tackle, picks it up and rumbles 46 yards for the touchdown to give the Hokies a 17-6 lead. At first we thought maybe he was down, but if you look closely, you'll see that Coleman knocks the ball free. Buddy Ward, the official, right there to call it. It's a clean sack. Barron rambles into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Hokies led 17-6. 3 plays later, however, his teammate, the guy that lines up right next to him, J.C. Price, would get into the action as the Hokies' other defensive tackle scores. They try a little middle screen. Price intercepts it, and he runs it in 24 yards for a touchdown. Good moves, huh? Let's watch it again. We thought J.C. was a tackle. He says, I can be a tailback. I've got some skills in the open field. Watch the move he puts on Bonner here. Little stutter step, little stiff arm, and he takes it into the end zone for the touchdown, and all of a sudden, this ball game is over 24-6. Tech's defensive ends played exceptionally well all game long, particularly when Temple would challenge. When Bonner and Walker hook up with this 35-yard game, it looks like the Owls might have some momentum going, but the defensive ends took over. Here's Cornell Brown, who had another great day, although it looked like he was being held for much of the afternoon on one play. And then later, Green is stopped in the backfield by the guy on the other side, Hank Coleman, out of Richmond. The Hokies lead the Big East Conference in sacks, and Jim Barron had another one yesterday, coming right up the middle. He gets the quarterback on this play, a 12-yard loss. That forces another Temple field goal. Mikulski, who was 2 for 2, makes it 3 for 3, his longest yet, in the air and good, and it's 24-9. Before the first half would end, another 71-yard touchdown drive by the Hokies, this one in 12 plays. Druckenmiller scrambles on a 3rd and 6 for a 9-yard gain, and he would complete 4 straight passes on this series, including this 4th down and 4 throw to Brian Still. It's a 25-yard gain on a post pattern that brought the ball to the Temple 7-yard line. 3 plays later, on 3rd down and goal, Marcus Parker gets his first touchdown of the day, and the Hokies led it 31-9 in the final few moments of the first half. More Outstanding work by the defensive end. Look at Hank Coleman track down the quarterback, Bonner, with a minute to go in the half. And then the Hokies blitz for one of the few times on the afternoon on 3rd and long on this play, and Brandon Simonis gets into the act, bringing Bonner down there as well. Tech's defense dominated, as you would expect. And at halftime, the Hokies at RFK led. It was Tech 31 and Temple 9. Like most Tech fans, you were wondering. The Hokies had this game with Temple right in between two really big games, the Syracuse game last week and this coming week's game against Virginia. And a lot of people were concerned after the big win against Syracuse, would the Hokies have any type of letdown against Temple? Well, is that? Well, Tech's rush defense is the #1 defensive group in the country. In the third quarter, you can really see why. They totally shut down the Temple attack. Myron Newsom is going to make this play here. Look how well the young man runs coming up to make the tackle. It was just all Virginia Tech. And the Hokies just put this game away in the second quarter, and it was only a matter of time before they'd salt the game away. Jim Druckenmiller had a decent drive going here. First possession of the third quarter for Virginia Tech. There's a gain of 12 to Jermaine Holmes. And then on the same possession, 2 plays later, a quick screen to the near sideline to Cornelius White. He runs 14 yards, and the Hokies are on the move. From the Temple 44-yard line later on this drive, Tech up 31-9. Druck hooks up with Ken Oxendine. About his 3rd receiver on this play. Good poise for Druckenmiller. That brought the ball down deep into Temple territory, actually to the 44-yard line, or rather to the 29. Then on 1st down and 10, another completion for Druck to about the 10. But the ball is dropped by Holmes. It's a Tech turnover, and the Temple Owls take over. Even when they held, there's holding penalties all over the field on this play. They're unable to block Tech's defensive line as J.C. Price comes in for the Virginia Tech sack. Then a crazy play here. You're going to see 2 fine William Yarborough plays back-to-back. Look at that. That ball pops up into the air. Ends up a 76-yard gain, but look at Yarborough save the touchdown with that long run. And as it turned out, Temple did not score, even though they had the ball there on the 10-yard line. And then later, more William Yarborough highlights. His teammates call him killer. Here's his first of 2 interceptions on the day, and that helped keep Temple off the scoreboard. It was 31-9 going to quarter number 4. Hokies then put together their longest drive of the year. After that interception, the ball was on the 3-yard line. The Hokies go 97 yards on this drive in 12 plays. That was a 25-yard gain to Brian Still, and then Druckenmiller hooks up with Michael Stewie. That's a good catch for Stewie, a 15-yard gain down to the Temple 28-yard line. Then on 1st down, the Hokies stick with that run-and-shoot formation with 4 receivers. There's the hot man, White, coming across the middle. That brings the ball deeper into Temple territory. And then later, 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The Hokies give it to Parker again. Great blocking by Miles and by Anshin and DiNapoli. A closer review of the replay, you see the outstanding blocking at the point of attack. It's a 1-yard run for Parker, and the Hokies led it at this point by a score of 38-9. Coach Beamer got to get some other people in the ball game later, trying to get some depth, build some depth on the experience. Corey Irby helps make that tackle there. Temple is able to put together one last scoring drive here late in the 4th quarter. Burris and Kersey hook up for a 15-yard gain. And then from the 18-yard line in the final couple of minutes, the Owls' Burris is able to hook up with Kersey again. It's an 18-yard touchdown that made it 38-16 in the final couple of minutes of the game. Al Clark came into play quarterback for the Hokies. Got about 5 snaps in there, ran the option well on this play, and picked up a gain of 7 yards. But on Temple's last possession, William Killer Yarborough would salt it away with his 2nd interception. He's now 7th all-time on the all-time Tech interception list with that one. And the Hokies cruise in easy fashion at RFK Stadium. They knock off Temple. Final score, Hokies 38 and the Owls 16. So the Hokies of Virginia Tech knock off Temple 38-16. That means the Hokies are the Big East champions for 1995. What's it like to be on a championship team? Well, it's always sweet and satisfying, most especially for this year's Virginia Tech team, because the Hokies got off to an 0-2 start and then ripped off 8 straight wins. After the game, we sent our radio network analyst Mike Burnup into the locker room to talk with some of the Tech players. And this week on Inside Tech Football, some extended interviews for you to get the share in the excitement of what that locker room was like yesterday up in Washington, D.C. Let's go in the locker room now. Here's Mike and the champions, the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Tell us about the play. Have you ever had a play like that before, and you'll remember that one the rest of your life, I'm sure?
No doubt. You know, it was in the Big East championship game. You know, we had a little stunt on, and Hank came free and hit the quarterback, and I came around and seen the ball on the turf and picked it up and felt like Deion Sanders there, you know, running down to the house.
You didn't look like him, but you...
I might not look like him, but I felt like going down there dancing and acting wild. But no, man, it was a great play to be able to play in the Big East title game and contribute to the win. It was a great feeling.
You know, a lot of you defensive tackles, y'all kind of like run out of gas, but you seem to be getting a little faster as you got closer to the goal line.
You see heaven there, you want to get there fast, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to get there before the door closed. Maybe one of them receivers or running backs was after me, so I kind of try to pick up speed.
Brian, congratulations for you, a big win, Big East champions. Can you believe it yet?
No, it really hasn't sunk in yet. I've been waiting for this for all of my years here at Tech, and I'm glad it finally came in my senior season because it's real sweet now.
You know, today you moved up to 12th all-time on the list of receiving.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch you. But, yeah, I've been having a good career, and it's just great.
Today, you know, the people got to see why you have a nickname Killer. You made some great hits as well.
Thank you. I mean, it's funny how everybody think, you know, just because I'm so small out here, I can't tackle nobody, but, you know, I just use that against them.
Sometimes timing is everything, right?
That is true, because, man, somebody bigger than I am, you know, I don't want them to see me coming, you know, so they can get the best of them. I try to get the best of them when they're not looking.
You know, one of the best plays you made all day was the pass that got tipped around, and it looked like you got shot out of a cannon to make that tackle, the touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah, because basically we was in like a 3 deep, but when I thought Larry Green was going to get the interception, so I kind of like, you know, slowed down and waited for the play to develop, you know, thought he was going to pick it so I could make a block. But then when I saw the dude, you know, swipe it off his head after the tip, you know, I started trying, but then I thought Torrin was going to tackle him. So, you know, I laid back and did. After when Torrin missed him, I was like, well, I guess I got to catch him. You know, I didn't think I was going to get him, though, but when I finally did catch him, I tried to knock the ball out, but he wouldn't let it go.
Well, you know, until yesterday, Virginia Tech hadn't won a conference championship since 1963. Back then, quarterback Bob Schweikert led the Hokies to an undefeated season in the Southern Conference for head coach Jerry Claiborne. Well, now some 32 years later, a Claiborne protege, Frank Beamer, leads Virginia Tech to its second conference championship as the Hokies capture the 1995 Big East title. So congratulations to Coach Beamer. After the game, Mike Burnup sat down and talked with length with the head coach of the 95 Big East champions, Frank Beamer. Let's go back to the locker room now. Here's Coach Beamer and Mike Burnup.
All right, Coach, in the preseason you had a goal to win the Big East, and you got off to a little rocky start against Boston College, but you won 8 in a row. You're 6-1 in the Big East, and by golly, today you can declare yourselves champions of the Big East.
Yeah, I thought it was a struggle. The game wasn't smooth. Today was work. The past couple of games have been fun, but today was work. Too many penalties, and this play wasn't real sharp, and we got a couple kids hurt. But I'm going to tell you, just the overall feeling right now to win the Big East, and after the start we had, it goes back to our coaches and our players, because our coaches kept them together and kept them focused, and our players had the character to come back and you know, win 8 straight football games. So you know, we're kind of doing new things all the time. I think 8 games haven't been won many times there at Tech, 8 straight. So
1905.
Is that right? And hopefully we're not done. You know, hopefully we got some more good to do with this football team.
You know, Coach, a big part of the success has been the ability of you guys to play great on the road. Now you're 5-0 on the road, and I think you've won 11 out of the last 14 Big East games. That's important to win on the road.
No question, and I think good teams, I know good teams just really doesn't make play, it's how you play. And we've done well. And that gets back to your leadership too. You know, it's hard to get that done unless you have the players that have that great desire to excel, and I give them the credit.
You know, you played your 100th game today as a coach. You got to 500.
Yeah, and I have 500 at Tech. You know, and I think the good part about that is, you know, the first few years is when we was on the downside, and the last few is when we really got on the upside to get it back to even. And hopefully this is just the beginning. I've always felt that Tech was a program that could take it to another level, and I think, regardless of what ESPN thinks, that this program is right in the middle of changing its status, and I really believe we can be a top program in the country year in and year out.
You know, Coach, when you got into the Big East a few years back, I mean, did you think you'd get to the top this fast? I mean, there were some serious potholes along the way on that road, but now, I mean, today, it's what a turnaround.
Yeah, it is, and it really feels good. It feels good to be a part of this. But, you know, I told the kids after the game today, and I really mean this. You know, and when you've been in coaching a lot of years, there's some years it's just a lot more fun than others. And this year it's been fun because the kids are solid. They work hard. We practice hard. We haven't had a lot of problems within the football team. If we have some problems, the leadership within the football team is kind of taking care of it. So I can honestly say, and winning helps. There's no question about that. But I can honestly say this has been a fun year, and it's been a fun year because of my coaching staff and the players.
You saw those hats? They look good, didn't they? 1995 Big East champions. Well, there's a lot of Big East football yet to play. If you don't have all the scores in your Sunday paper, let's check out the Big East scoreboard and show you what happened yesterday, and then we'll see how it affects Virginia Tech. There's the Hokies win over Temple, 38-16. Syracuse bounced back after the tough game here in Blacksburg last week. They win at Pitt by the final of 42-10 for Pasqualoni. Miami got lucky, folks. They kick a field goal in the final couple of minutes, final minute as a matter of fact, and they beat Boston College 17-14. Rutgers and Tulane had a shootout. This game actually ended on a Tulane pass that was intercepted in the end zone by Rutgers on the final play, or Tulane would have pulled out a miracle comeback after scoring with about 20 seconds to go and recovering the onside kick. WVU had the week off. They play at Miami next week. Well, what did all those results mean in terms of the Big East standings? Well, the Hokies are done with Big East play. They finished the year at 6-1 in the conference. But as we see, Syracuse and Miami still have a chance to tie Tech. Now, they play each other, so only one of them can win out and tie Tech. That game is coming up in 2 weeks. Miami has to play West Virginia first. But you can see very clearly, although the Hokies are at the top of the league, there's a chance that either Syracuse or Miami could tie them. WVU has to win out. They've got 2 games left at Miami and then against Pitt. If they win both, they could go to a bowl. BC is out of it. Same thing with Rutgers, Temple, and Pitt. They've got a couple of games left, and that is it for the season for those teams. Well, the question of the week is going to be, where are the Hokies going bowling, and how big is this week's game against the Virginia Cavaliers? Well, there are a number of different places that Tech can go to a bowl. We do not know yet. We do know it's going to be a great place, and it's going to be someplace warm. Now, get your pencils out and check out all these bowl dates and times and whatnot. Now, as you know, the Gator Bowl will have a Big East team. Now, this year, it is a New Year's Day Bowl. The Gator Bowl is on New Year's Day. It could be against Clemson. That could be the game, and NBC now has the Toyota Gator Bowl, and it will be played at the new stadium in Jacksonville, not in Gainesville like last year. So remember, the Gator Bowl this year, a New Year's Day Bowl. Now, the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, this is one of the Alliance Bowls, this year is on New Year's Eve. It is not a New Year's Day Bowl. ABC, of course, will televise it. If the Hokies end up in the Sugar Bowl, it looks like it'll be against the loser of the Florida State-Florida game, if they end up on New Year's Eve in New Orleans for a 7:30 kickoff. Now, if the Hokies go to the Alliance Bowl, most likely it will be the Orange Bowl, and again, it would be against the Florida State loser, likely Florida in this case, or Notre Dame. It appears that Notre Dame, if they beat Air Force Saturday, will be going to the Orange Bowl. That's on January 1st at 8 p.m., and CBS has it this year, first year of a new agreement between CBS and the Orange Bowl. This week's game at Virginia could tell us a whole lot, but hopefully the Hokies will be in one of those 3 games we should know in the next couple of weeks. That does it for this week's edition of Inside Tech Football. We'll see you next week.